Hello everyone, welcome to our Tech Talk on Royal Cyber Digital Transformation, and I'm your host Mustafa Pesh, CEO of Royal Cyber, and today we welcome Rajeev, ServiceNow practice head at Royal Cyber, having vast expertise in AI ops space, and he will share his practical advice on how he guides enterprises and IT organizations on getting started with predictive AI. Welcome, Rajeev.
Thank you, Mustafa. It's great to be here.
Okay, so Rajeev, based on your work and the work that you are doing today with organizations that are looking to transform IT, especially with predictive IO ops, how would you define AI ops in general, and how do you guide organizations to think about how they can use predictive AI ops to transform IT?
Okay, so in a perfect world, most CIOs or IT operation leaders want to get the self feeling. That's what we call the autonomous operation. This is, of course, has been the ultimate goal for IT for years. And predictive AI ops is getting us much closer to this goal. Predictive AI ops is transformative and unique in the industry. It works with the client existing data and monitoring tools. It collects data from all those sources, whether it's a log, matrix, or any other tool. And it applies analytics to predict and fix problems before they impact users.
Awesome. Great, Rajiv. So, what's your approach to help clients get to what you refer to as autonomous service operations?
Okay, so to answer that, let's agree that automation doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It is a step that's built on top of and relies on previous building blocks, which are modernizing. Then comes automation, and then comes optimization operations. The first phase is modernizing service. Now we help our clients to modernize service on a single cloud, single platform, so they can expand the services they offer. In second phase is consolidation and automation. In this phase, our customers apply automation and AI to not only empower self-service IT without human intervention, but mind you, but also to predict and prevent issues before they impact users or the business. And this is where predict value comes in. The third phase of this journey ensures that our client can support the critical governance role of optimizing people, processes, and compliance. The optimization leverages all the previous building blocks, and that's where you have the opportunity to reach zero outages or zero incidents. These are kind of the three steps towards a goal, and why automation is kind of the key building blocks of those steps.
Awesome. Great, Rajiv. That was really good. So, when you first start working with organizations, what's a typical traditional IT environment before they have transformed IT, and what it is like once it has been transformed, specifically with the predictive AI ops?
Okay, so before something looks like this, it is not uncommon for companies to spend hours and even days investigating and fixing an outage or a slow service. And I want to say today, with hybrid, multi-cloud environment and the data center kind of stamped all over the world for a single enterprise and sheer volume of data that needs to be processed when outages or slow service hit an organization. Well, it can no longer be addressed by humans alone. Human can no longer scale to meet that volume. It's a problem software can solve. And with predictive AI ops, I want to say an organization can get ahead of an issue and hit the symptoms before it results in outage or a slow service. Because the AI engine literally understands what a normal environment looks like. And it can tell immediately when something is not normal. That's where no way a human can tell the AI all the possible things that can go wrong, which is where predictive AI ops takes a transformation approach. You don't have to tell predictive AI ops what to look for. That can go wrong because it figures it out itself. And that's truly the intelligence phase of your AI engine.
Great, awesome, Rajeev. So I want to really know now, Rajeev, that how predictive AI ops works,
Okay.
and I'm sure our listeners, do as well, since it's so different than the traditional AI based solutions, and it doesn't have to be told where to look in advance. So, can you briefly explain, Rajiv, how it works?
Sure. So most clients start up with their problematic application that are causing the most incidents or issues. And they use predictive acts to study these applications so that predictive can tell them it sees an abnormal symptoms. ServiceNow engine looks at all the sources of data that we feed it, and it continuously does something a person would have done only at a software speed and accuracy. The engine starts looking for anomalies and for opportunities to correlate behavior from logs, metrics, and events. Now, once the engine is deployed in an environment, and it's kind of matter, I want to say just couple of weeks where that engine learned what a normal IT environment looks like. So basically, it learns what is normal. And after a couple of hours, to be honest, it will start raising alerts. But the more it learns, the more effective it gets. And you can also contribute by training the model in the ServiceNow tools. That's the simple way of doing it, just like thumbs down kind of feedback.
Awesome, great. So definitely, yeah, this is definitely a transformation. Since you are not telling it what to do, you are not saying look for this threshold or that certain pattern. It's really a breakthrough. Um, Thanks for that outstanding explanation on how it works. So in any digital transformation, one of the critical success factor, and it is basically perhaps the most important, is getting stakeholder buy-in, and getting that buy-in early and often. How do you help clients get stakeholder buy-in to deploy predictive AI ops?
Okay. So it's easy to say that stakeholder need to trust us. And by us, I mean the ServiceNow platform and that trust the engine and trust what the engine will find. And this trust is gained by talking to them about their teams can multiply how that impact using ServiceNow application. And this gives them the room to be more effective and what they were hired to do, which help the business scale, prevent outages, and gain predictive performances. Stakeholders buy in after seeing ServiceNow engine either using live data that they have given a week to kind of play with it. And of course, we can also go using the other out of proof values like POVs, using their own data in their own environment. Those POVs usually take a bit longer but have the potential to show initial benefit and kind of help decisions maker decide.
Awesome, great. So, how do you help clients get started with predictive AI ops?
Well, the first thing that I ask them to do is to analyze their tickets or like incidents to see where they have the most problems. So that's the first thing we do on understanding where the noises are, where the biggest pain points are. The second thing, or the second is kind with the understanding of the past environment or understanding of the past data. We can now define what is our main focus for predictive AI ops. Which use cases are we going to start with? What KPIs are we going to track? Typical KPIs are ticket avoidance and reduction of MPTR. That's usually ending up to be the main goals of those projects. The next part is to plan for implementation. Install predictive apps on top of your service now platform. It's technically pretty simple. And then the next phase, once the application is installed, we meet your teams on a short meeting cadence every couple of days for first couple of weeks, and we train the engine. We give it feedback. The alert is good, give it a thumbs up. The alert should be muted. Let's extract the custom data if we need some custom behavior. It's really helpful because after a couple of weeks of learning, the engine is tweaked to the purpose of your team and your company and your operations. And then it's ready. You can start looking at the next goals and the use cases.
Awesome, awesome. No, I think that was really useful. So I think this has been just really, interesting and so helpful. Rajeev, thank you so much for sharing your best practices here and helping us understand the transformation capabilities of predictive AI ops and more specifically how it works. And thank you everyone for joining our podcast today, and please join us in our next episode on conversation with digital transformation champions. So long for now.
Thank you.